Gravity Falls and Journal 3 belong to Alex Hirsch and Disney Channel. Please go support Gravity Falls and go buy Journal 3.
Hello, everybody! And here we are with our next installment of the Gravity Falls Journal 3 readings. And I think this should be chapter 16 based on how I've been doing things. And we're finally back. Can you guess who? Who's back? Well, if we line this up with the show correctly, they just got the book taken away. Stan was arrested. And so, naturally, they would have gone to the portal. That whole episode, The Tale of Two Stans, would have come. And then, who gets the journal back? It's Ford. It's Ford time again. It's time for Ford. Yeah. So, time to get back to the old Stanford. Not much else to say. So, let's just jump right into it. Please forgive me if I stutter, hesitate, or mispronounce anything, and for any noises in the background. And we haven't needed to use our cryptexes and stuff for anything, and there's only going to be one little use for it in this chapter, but still, it should be in the description if you want the link so you can see all the different codes and stuff. Okay, so let's begin. So we left off. We had the classified page, and then it's like 1, 2, 3 pages blank. And now, here we go. Against all odds, I'm back. I never thought in 1,000 years that I would hold this book again. The weight of it in my hands and the smell of its parchment whisks my memory back to the tragic accident that forever changed my life. Although I was not around to record it, 30 years ago, I got into a fight with my brother and was knocked through my very own interdimensional portal into a universe beyond imagination. The last 3 decades have been frightening, exciting, cruel, and strange, and as I find myself back in my old study, writing in my old journal, it is hard to shake the feeling that I have been awoken from a bizarre 30-year dream. How is it that I'm back? It turns out that despite my warnings and the possibility of global catastrophe, Stanley managed to reactivate the portal and bring me back to my home dimension. While his intentions might have been pure, he was just as careless bringing me back as he was knocking me through in the first place. He destroyed the portal in the process, risked endangering the entire fabric of reality, and even found himself the target of a federal manhunt by the U.S. government, a logical progression from his days in the principal's office. If it weren't for Fiddleford's memory ray, I'd likely be writing from some secret government prison by now. Fortunately, as far as the government is concerned, our encounter never happened. Trigger and Powers will likely get deja vu the next time they hear the words Gravity Falls, and probably nothing more. But I should not dwell on the past. There will be time enough to ruminate on my years spent traveling through the dimensional rift and the strange things I saw there. First, I must focus on the present and the problems created by a man who was responsible for my latest twist of fate. My brother, Stanley. Hero or idiot? When I first saw him, I assumed I had once again found myself in an alternate parallel universe. Gone was the stubborn, mullet-brained, frost-bitten Vage Bond who had pushed me into the portal many years earlier, replaced by a wrinkly Carnival Barker with my father's face, fez, and girdle. I've spent the last 30 years contemplating what I might do if I saw Stanley again. Would I even be able to look him in the eyes after what he did? Would I apologize for shutting him out of my life? As it turned out, instinct took over, and I punched him right in the face. Crossed out. I feel kind of bad about that. Number 1, the face. Inherited Dad's nose and Mom's untrustworthy tongue. 2, gut. I've spent the last 30 years keeping up an extensive exercise and diet regime. Stanley hasn't. 3, suit. Dad's suit, which he gave me after graduation. He thought I'd wear it for my wedding. I thought I'd wear it to accept an award. Instead, Stanley has used it to trick tourists and sell keychains. 4, fez. Dad's hat. He never did tell us much about the Royal Order of the Holy Mackerel. 5, machinery. Operated my portal like a monkey pretending to be a mechanic. Half of the instruments are held together with duct tape. Yes, despite the extra pounds and wrinkles, Stanley is still the irresponsible, shortcut-loving, overgrown child I remember from the past. Most unbelievable. His first thought upon seeing me again was to expect a thank you, after destroying my life. Even worse, he spent the last 30 years avoiding the law by faking his own death, impersonating me, and scamming the local townsfolk with a money-making ruse so absurd it would even make my profit-loving father blush. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And it turns out he's become a fraud for a living. I had nearly fainted when I saw what he had done to my lab. Crossed out the Mystery Shack. Unbelievable. Once a haven for scientific study, the cabin I built with my grant money has been transformed by Stanley over the years into a hokey freak show that mocks everything about the study of the paranormal. 1. The sign, designed to catch attention, infested with owls and, for some reason, a goat. 2. The golf cart, clearly stolen from nearby Santa's village. 3. Taurus. I chose this spot for seclusion, and now there are rhyming signs advertising it for 10 miles up the highway. 4. Signage. There are legal disclaims and almost impossible to see fine print painted up and down nearly every entryway. It's a wonder Stanley hasn't been sued yet. 5. Weather vane. The weather vane that makes no sense. W, H, A, and T aren't directions. What does that even mean? Everything has changed. My inventing room, now a hall of ludicrous taxidermies. I mean, what the heck is a hampire? My thinking parlor, now a man cave, tackier than a TGI Apple Ruckler's family restaurant. My T-Rex skull is being used as a coffee table. Even my storage room is now an overpriced gift shop, more clutter than Pines Ponds. A tourist asked me if she could get a discount on the Burpin' Stanford Pines figurine, since it wasn't burpin' loud enough. These are the bane of my existence. I gathered them up and burned them immediately. Walking around my old lab, I feel like a dead man's ghost haunting a strange funhouse mirror version of his past life. I resolve to take back my home and rebuild the life that Stanley has taken from me. But I must wait until the summer is over. For the sake of the summertime newcomers I find living and working here, my impressions of them are as follows. Zeus. Crossed out Soos. Upon first seeing this specimen, I believed him to be one of the hairless gopher people of the dimension of Rotatus 7. I was shocked to discover that he is actually a human adult man. Quarantined him for testing due to exposure to portal radiation. Findings: 1. Hair growth appears in strange, awkward patches. Is he a man? Is he a baby? 2. Evidence of autolysis suggests that he survived a zombie bite. When I brought this up, he laughed and said, "That was one crazy party, dude." 3. Giggles when prodded. 4. Seems to have consumed a nearly infinite amount of pizza. That, of course, is impossible. I may need to recheck my instruments. The strangest thing about him is his utter idolization of my brother Stanley. Crossed out. That mark on his shirt is so familiar. Wendy Corduroy. I recognized the name instantly. Stanley's other hired helper is the teenage daughter of Boyish Dan Corduroy, the local lumberjack who helped construct my lab back in the 1980s. I hear he's grown quite a bit since then. Soos had apparently told her everything about me by the time we met. She was so unfazed by seeing me that she simply said, "Sup, Stan, too," and started casually typing to her friends on one of the computing phones that seemed so popular in this present. Computing phone. This gadget can do everything from sending a picture of a winking cat face to ruining a celebrity's career in seconds. I'll stick to my typewriter and rotary dial, thanks. Wendy compliments my turtleneck in a way that didn't seem sincere. I worry that she is appreciating me ironically. Crossed out, that ice bag. Am I losing my mind? Mabel Pines. At least there is some good news. I am a great uncle, or grunkle, as Stanley seems oddly insistent on saying. Apparently, Sherman Pines' grandkids have been staying with Stanley for the summer. It's hard to believe the parents would trust these kids with Stanley. They clearly thought he was me. I was instantly channeled by Mabel's enthusiastic attitude. Although a little hesitant about her utter fascination with my 6th finger, she has already started making me finger puppets despite my request for her not to. Then right by Mabel's face, we have a code that I'm not going to read out because, of course, it is a code. So I will just give you the translation. It says, has the famous Pines hair curls. Okay. After getting her to calm down for a moment, I eventually subjected Mabel to the same testing as Soos and found her to be an odd specimen as well. 1. When I asked her to say ah, she screamed for a whole minute and coughed up glitter. Not normal. 2. Shares the family sweet tooth. Diet seems to consist solely of items with the word gummy in them. I will need to discuss nutrition with Stanley. 3. Apparently knits a new sweater every day. I may request her to help in repairing mine. 4. I gave her several different Rorschach tests to make sure she wasn't psychologically damaged by our experience with the portal. Here's how she interpreted the ink blot designs. Bunny, lollipop, friendship wand. These interpretations are unusual. I may need to do further psychological testing. Dipper Pines. Twins run in the family, although unfortunately, that is the only family resemblance I see in this overly eager, unusually sweaty, crossed out 10-year-old, 12-year-old. Every time I made direct contact with this fretful child, he started gagging like he was going to throw up, and when I tested his heart rate for side effects of dimensional fever, I found it going a mile a minute. The only thing I could glean from his stammering was that, shockingly, he was the one to find Journal 3's hiding place in the forest. I'm not sure how accessing my journal was even possible. The only explanation is that the security must have become unstable over time, and perhaps water damage loosened the machinery. Although I'm grateful to have my journal back, a quick look-through reveals that he has been treating this important specific document as his own personal diary and generally scribbling over my work with his own notation. I will have to review when I have a moment to survey the damaged. Observations. 1. Constantly sweating. Perhaps he takes after Stanley. 2. Fidgeting suggests he may still be recovering from a shock of portal contact. 3. Very thin limbs, almost noodly. Were his bones weakened by exposure to portal radiation? 4. Rank odor. Clearly hasn't bathed recently. Stanley should never be put in charge of children. 5. Refusal to take off his hat. That hat. This is far more than a coincidence. The sense of deja vu I get looking at these symbols is overwhelming. The cave writing I saw many years ago said that these symbols and others had the power to bring about great change, but so many prophecies and legends turned out to be Bill's lies. Could this just be another one of Bill's tricks? How well did the ancient people of Gravity Falls truly understand Bill's powers? And what are the odds that this randomly assorted group could have anything to do with my destiny? I must not give this too much thought. The time for ancient superstitions is past. I must focus on the scientific ways to address the troubles I fear are coming. And that is where we'll be ending our reading today. So yes, this chapter was just a nice little welcome back Ford, and he's going to talk a bit about the characters. And hopefully he'll realize soon what Dipper's really like, and that he's just fangirling over the author of the journal. But yeah, that was a great chapter. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Still more to come. Bye, everybody! Gravity Falls belongs to Alex Hirsch and Disney Channel. Please go support Gravity Falls and go buy Journal 3.